I've got an interesting question for you. Is Alzheimer's disease actually diabetes type 3? I'm Dr. Jim. Let me explain. I've been reading a stack. And the weather's so nice, and my dogs are so happy with me sitting out on the deck and reading and reading and reading. I go through highlighters with my little glasses and take notes, but the information that I'm reading right now is so incredible. Scientific literature looking at diabetes and Alzheimer's disease being very connected. And the link that's connecting them is insulin resistance. Okay, here we go. Diabetes and Alzheimer's disease are both major health concerns that are increasing in prevalence here in the United States and around the entire world. According to recent studies, there may be a possible link between diabetes and increased risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. Okay, so if I have diabetes, do I run a higher risk of developing Alzheimer's later in life? Here's the answer. Insulin resistance may play a significant role in the development of this neurodegenerative condition because as insulin signaling becomes dysfunctional, the hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease, a buildup of beta-amyloid plaques and tau protein tangles, begin to develop. So, it's important to understand the connection between diabetes and Alzheimer's so that research studies can work towards new treatments. So if you get to insulin resistance early enough, what does that mean? The individual may not develop Alzheimer's later in life. Let me explain metabolic and neurodegenerative disorders combined. Exploration of the interplay between metabolic and neurodegenerative disorders has led scientists to examine the role of insulin resistance and Alzheimer's disease, as well as the complexities of a metabolic neurodegenerative condition and connection. Now, those are words I've never used before as a gerontologist. Metabolic neurodegenerative connection. That's important. Google it. One goal of this line of research is to detect and manage insulin resistance as soon as possible, thereby reducing the risk of Alzheimer's disease for millions of people here in the U.S. and around the world currently diagnosed with diabetes, or perhaps they are in a pre-diabetic condition. So, as we began the video, is Alzheimer's disease diabetes type 3? Have you ever heard this? So, in general, Alzheimer's is classified into two different types, okay? You may have heard. Early onset Alzheimer's manifests symptoms in a person's 40s or 50s. Younger, this is a younger, early onset type of Alzheimer's disease, and it has a very strong genetic link. So if mom, dad, grandma, grandpa had it, we run a higher risk. Symptoms of late onset, that's the type that starts after the age of 65, is believed to be the type of Alzheimer's that takes a long time to develop, and then that's where we see an accumulation of beta-amyloid plaques and tau protein tangles. Okay, that's late onset after the age of 65. Now, a more recent line of thinking involves insulin's neuroprotective role in the brain. Insulin protects the brain. Got it? So when it becomes dysregulated, insulin, it contributes to neuronal destruction and cognitive impairment associated with Alzheimer's disease. Some experts are now considering this condition. Dysregulated insulin is destroying neurons in the brain. That might actually be Alzheimer's as a type 3 diabetes. That's fascinating to me. I hope it's fascinating to you. Treating insulin resistance might reduce risk of Alzheimer's disease. That's amazing. Let me say that again. Treating insulin resistance might reduce risk of Alzheimer's disease. This should be a headline around the world, but it's not, and that's why I'm here. While there are a number of pharmaceuticals available to treat diabetes and insulin resistance, other approaches might be very helpful. Nutraceuticals, you know what they are. Omega-3 fatty acids, resveratrol, and curcumin have shown promising results in improving insulin sensitivity through their anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. So resveratrol in grapes or wine, curcumin extracted from turmeric, and omega-3 fatty acids in fish and in supplements. Dietary approaches, including intermittent fasting and caloric restriction, are associated with insulin sensitivity and neuroprotection. And I have been practicing these, and I really am a big fan of intermittent fasting. Don't eat from 6 o'clock tonight until noon tomorrow. And then caloric restriction. Get your nutrition and the calories you need, but don't get a lot of junk in your body that are empty calories, that have no nutritional value whatsoever. Cognitive training, while not directly associated with insulin resistance by any means, can reduce cognitive decline. Cognitive training, stay sharp cognitively. Puzzles, learn a new instrument, learn a new language, read material. I read things way out of my league. But to the point where my brain hurts. But I'm doing it for a reason. I believe my brain is building new neural networks because when you read something in a different science, it's almost like reading a different language. So modulation of the gut biome, I've talked about that in a lot of articles and a lot of videos, through the use of pre- and probiotics, as well as dietary changes, may also benefit and support the gut-brain axis and its influence on insulin resistance and Alzheimer's disease. So look up the gut microbiome, because our gut might actually be our first brain, and this might be our second brain. So, my final thoughts on this. Alzheimer's as diabetes type 3. The disease is on the rise in the United States and around the world. Diabetes and Alzheimer's disease have recently been directly connected by scientific studies, finding that insulin resistance in particular can lead to the development of Alzheimer's disease and places people with diabetes at a higher risk of developing the neurodegenerative condition. Out there in science and right here, there's a strong sense of urgency among researchers to develop newer and better treatments for diabetes and insulin resistance in particular, to reduce or eliminate the risk of also developing Alzheimer's disease years, decades after being diagnosed with diabetes and insulin resistance. Some researchers are now calling this diabetes type 3. You might want to do your own research on this, but keep coming back. I'm Dr. Jim, and I never stop being nerdy and on a quest to continue to learn as much as I can and to share it with you. Keep coming back. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you're looking for online continuing education, CEUs for your own license, check out CEU Academy, where we create fresh content every single year, very timely, important topics. And tell your colleagues who are licensed healthcare professionals as well. Follow the link below and check out ceu.academy.